Welcome, everyone. It's great to see such a wonderful turnout on Friday morning here. It's like we've got 16 of us here this morning with nothing better to do on a Friday morning than talk about groups in Canvas. All learning management systems have some means of dividing students into groups to allow them to carry on group projects and to communicate as part of a group and collaborate on various things. And Canvas is no exception. You can create, within your courses in Canvas, you can create groups of students and assign them group work. This is not an exceptionally popular activity among students in online courses or in face-to-face courses, for that matter. I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know there. It's challenging for students, and you run into all of those social dynamics within a group, like the person, the overachiever who wants everything to be perfect, the slacker who doesn't participate, but yet the whole group gets the same grade on the assignment. So there's the issue of distributing work fairly, and being basically dependent on the other members of your group for some of your grade, where you lose a certain degree of control over how well the group does. And some personality types especially just hate that. But that's what they're going to have to do when they get into the world of work. In so many cases, they're going to have to work as parts of teams, parts of committees. And they're going to have to get work done. And they're going to have to deal with all these social dynamics and so on in the group. And it's incumbent upon us to, as best we can, prepare them for that environment. And group activities and group assignments in an online course are something we can do to foster that. So it's a hassle. It's especially stressful for the students, but it's worth doing, or many people feel it is anyway. So how do we do that in Canvas? Well, let me go ahead and share my screen here. We'll get started on that. All right, let me get the video squares out of the way for a moment. You should now be seeing my using groups in Canvas outline. Please let me know if at any time I start talking about something and you can't figure out what I'm saying because you can't see it. Sooner or later, I and most anybody who uses Zoom will forget to share their screen and think they've done so. So please let me know. Just jump in immediately. Most of you I see are muted. Thank you. That keeps down background noise, but you can unmute yourself at any time by clicking on the little unmute button in the lower left-hand corner of your Zoom menu, and just jump in. Don't stand on ceremony. If you are having trouble seeing or hearing something, I want to know about it. And I can't keep as good an eye on the chat tool as I might like to while I'm presenting. So just let me know. I'll hear you. Also, speaking of the chat tool, if you haven't already done so, I see most of you probably have, but if you haven't already done so, if you wouldn't mind going to the chat tool and putting your name and or your email address in there for me, that'll give me a roster and make it easier for me to contact you if, like I find out as I did a few weeks ago that I said something in one of these sessions that was quite frankly wrong. And I had to get in touch with everybody and let them know, oh, wait a minute, what I said there is not exactly correct. It used to be, but it's not anymore. So I appreciate that. Okay, so the group capabilities in Canvas allow students to collaborate with one another on projects, basically on assignments. you set up homework assignments, or you can set up homework assignments so that students work on an assignment together. They get a little Canvas course, kind of like a breakout room in Zoom. They get a little Canvas course that's just for their group, and they can share files and pages with one another. They can create Canvas pages, or they can share files off their computers with one another, and everybody can download the files and work on them and upload them again back to the Canvas. They get a little file space in Canvas where they can share files. They can communicate with one another through discussion forums that are limited just to their group, so that only that only that group is able to communicate through that discussion topic. Excuse me. Now here's something that's incorrect. There are no quizzes in there. Sorry about that. Group assignments and discussions. One thing you cannot do with Canvas student groups, which is a major shortcoming in Canvas, I have to say, is that unlike most other learning management systems I've seen, you can't restrict access to content within your course based upon group membership. In most LMSs, you can say, okay, here's a module, or here's a file that I'm going to share only with a certain group of students. And then the other students will get different versions of the same thing. In Canvas, you just can't do that. There are a few workaround hacks using certain Canvas kind of niche capabilities in Canvas, but they're really too complex and too time-consuming to be worthwhile in my view. So basically, you don't have that capability with groups in Canvas. You can't say, okay, modules 2 and 3 are only visible to group 1, this one group of students, and another group of students would have access to something equivalent but different. Can't do it. So that's something that initially we just assumed Canvas had that capability. We even did some seminars where we talked about that, and then come to find out, nope, can't believe they left that out. We've expressed our opinions about that to Instructure, and we'll see if that ever changes, but so far it hasn't. So these are the sorts of things you can do vis-a-vis group activities in Canvas. You can divide your students into groups, and you can allow them to collaborate with one another, communicate, share files and pages, and have their own discussions separate from the rest of the course, and they can turn in group assignments.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of your packages delivered at your front door.
There we go. That, Randy, is something you can do in Zoom. I just bring up my participants box. There's a mute all button. And if you start getting background noise like that, you can mute everyone. And when you mute everyone, you have the option of either allowing them then to later unmute themselves, or if you uncheck that for a time, you'll be the only one anybody hears. So if you get into a situation that's kind of fractious, you can regain control and then gradually let up. But of course, I'm going to let you all unmute yourselves. This does not look like a fractious group. All right. So how do we implement this is what you're really interested in at this point. How can we create groups in Canvas, and how can they be used? And what does it look like when students see them is what we're going to talk about. That's going to take, I don't know, just depending on questions, half hour, 45 minutes. And then we'll have lots of time today for general questions without you having to stay past noon to do it. All right. I've created just a sandbox shell for us to work in here today. And right now it's free of any group setups or anything like that, and we're going to create them. Groups are by and large managed and accessed through the People tool in your course menu. So if you're going to be using student groups in your course, you pretty much have to give your students access to that. Generally, we recommend they not have access to the People tool, and some instructors habitually do give access, some don't. Remember that you can govern what students actually see out of this course menu by going to your settings menu, or settings link in your course menu, and going to the navigation tab in the course menu, or in the settings page. And if you don't want students to see something like attendance, that's really a tool that's useful only in classroom courses, as Canvas has it set up. So if I don't want them to see that, I just drag it down below this line here, and the students then won't be able to see it. And you can do, and in many cases, you may find the People tool down here, and you may have to drag it back up into the top part of this menu representation in order to make sure that your students can see it. And then, of course, remember to save any changes like this you make. This is one of those places in Canvas where you have to save a change rather than just having it automatically saved. Now, if we go back, we'll see that, and then look here, you'll see that the attendance tool is nowhere to be seen anymore, even for you. You can re-enable your access to it by going to the settings menu again, but the students won't see it. Okay, so the students need to be able to see the People tool. And you do too, of course, in order to set up your groups. That's where you go to set them up. And the button's always been there, but you may not have paid much attention to it. Within the People group, you have two tabs, Everyone and Student Groups. Student groups, fortunately or unfortunately, this is something different than what I'm talking about right now. Student groups are not groups of students in Canvas. They're groups, well, they are groups of students, but they're groups set up by students. Your students can make their own groups, like if they want to set up an ad hoc study group and use Canvas to share files and pages and discussion forums and so on, they can set their own up. But that's not what we're talking about right now. I'm talking about groups that you set up for your students to use, that you have control over. And those you set up in the People tab on your course menu by clicking this Add Group Set button. There are group sets, and there are groups, and each group can have multiple, each group set can have multiple groups within it. A group set is a bunch of groups that are associated with usually with a particular project or activity that you want the students to pursue. So you might have a group set for, say, a midterm project. Just for example. And you're then going to create a number of groups underneath this, where you have some number of students working on a midterm project collaboratively. But everybody within that group set is working on the same project. They're just working on it in smaller groups and producing their own group project. Getting students, to get students into the groups, you can allow them to self-sign up. If you select that, you get some options down here. You can create a certain number of groups. You know, pick enough groups that you will have enough groups that there won't be too many students in each group. And you can limit, indeed, the number. If you want to set the number of people at a maximum that can be in a group, you can do that. So that while students can sign up for the groups they want within the limitation of no more than 2 people in a group, or however many people in a group. There's also something called a group leader. Or you can have a group leader in a student group. And usually, for instance, that's the person who submits the group assignment when it's done. If they're working on a group assignment, that's probably the person who's going to submit it. You can automatically assign a group leader, or you can just let the group take care of that themselves. Or you can specifically assign a group leader. If you don't want to have students sign up themselves, you can create your groups manually. And I'm going to show you how to do that. The other, Canvas just takes care of everything for you. There's not much to see. And you just say split groups, and you set the number of groups, and Canvas automatically and randomly assigns people to the groups. But more often than not, I suspect you'll want to create them manually, and that process is a little more complex, so I'm going to demonstrate that for you. So I'm just going to leave this, and that is the default. If you don't do anything but name the group and hit save, or name the group set and hit save, that's what will happen. You'll have to set up your groups and the enrollments within the groups manually. So I'll save that. So I get this group set page here. Now I have a new button that says add group. So this is where I create my groups. And on the left here, I see a list of all the students in my course. These are my test students. And I've got 6 of them. You're obviously are probably going to have more. So your task is going to be a little more extensive, but the basic idea will be the same. So within a group set, I can create a number of groups appropriate to the number of students I have and the nature of the project and so on. So I just click add group to do that, and I give it a name. How about midterm project group 1 or something like that. And then save. And with this number of students, say maybe I'm thinking about 3 students per group, so I'd probably have a second group here. Just call it, and this is within the group set of midterm project. I'll type midterm group project. So I've got 2 groups within the group set. I can click the little menu buttons here for each, and I see that I've got no students in the group. Well, here's a test of how intuitive the Canvas interface really is. How do I add students to, say, group project 2 here, or 1? Anybody? If you figure it out, you'll remember it longer. It's at least worth thinking about for a minute.
Can you just
drag
Pardon?
over?
drag it over?
Very, very good. That's actually the less obvious way to do it. One way would be to click this plus sign here, and then I can pick the group to which to add that student. But easier, even easier, is you can just drag them over into this little rectangle here. So if I want test students 1, 2, and 3 in that group, I just drag them over. And the same with 4, 5, and 6. So yeah, Canvas, a lot of things about the Canvas interface are wonderful. Even embedded within these relatively limited group tools, that good interface is still there. Okay, so it's very quick and easy to assort your students among your different groups, assuming you want to do that manually and not have them just do it themselves within the strictures that I showed you earlier. So setting up a group is no big deal. Or setting up a group set and groups there within is no big deal. It only takes a few minutes. And most of that's thinking about who do I want to, how many groups do I want, and how many people in each and all that. So, fine, the groups are there, and you can always access them through the People tab. There's the Midterm Project tab, and you can just go in and you see your groups, and you can see who's in them. There are no unassigned students left, is what this is saying. You've assigned everybody to a group. Anybody who's not currently in a group, in this group set, will appear here. But we've taken care of that. So everything's set up. I mean, that's the getting it going is nothing. Now, what does it look like to the students is the next question. To do that, or to see that, we'll need to log in as a student here and get into this group. Let me do that. I'll log into one of my test students here. It's not what I wanted, sorry. Stu test 1 is one up. And there he is. So I don't have to remember what I said as the password. All right, this is a student account. And an actual student account, not like a test student account built into your course. This is just a dummy student, you should forgive the term, that I've created and enrolled in this group. There we go, Canvas Groups Seminar. All right, so how do the students see their groups? Well, one thing they can do, usually over here on the right side of the page, on the home page, when they first enter the course, they'll see their course groups listed there. They can also access it through the People tab and go to Groups. Now, this student was only enrolled in Group 1, but curiously enough, they can visit Group 2 and look at what's going on there. And there doesn't seem, I can't find any way to prevent them from doing that, but they can also visit their own group that way. So what do they have as a group, available to them as a group? Well, basically what they have is a tiny little course, Canvas course, all their own, that they can operate as just like you can operate your course. Only they have full control of this group, little group course that you've given them. The default home link is what's called the course activity stream. Course activities stream that just shows everything that's been happening. We just created this, so nothing much going on here, but when they first drop in, they'll see stuff, files that have been shared, announcements that have been made, and so on recently. They have an announcements tool, each of them, not just the group leader, but everybody has access to an announcements tool where they can view announcements. They have a pages tool. they can see a people tool, and they can see just their group members. They see discussion tools. They have a file section that is just available to them. So they can upload files here by choosing those files from their local hard drive. And why did that not appear? Just a second. Open. I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure why that's not showing up. Try doing that differently. Okay, I'm gonna have to look into that. I'm sorry, that should work. I got a feeling something.
It is showing it. It is showing in the Uploads tab.
Did I miss it? Folder is empty. I'm sorry, I'm not seeing that Uploads tab. Well, that was work. Go ahead.
No, I made the mistake. I thought it was there when you went back to look at.
Yeah, I'm welcome. I welcome any thoughts here. I'm not sure why that's working. Not working because it was. So I've got to check and see what's going on there. I'm sorry. Anyway, they should be able to do all of this themselves. And I'm not quite sure why that's suddenly not working. I'll get it fixed. So they have, basically they have their own little course that they can work in. I can pull that aside for a second. You can also create assignments that the students have to work on as a group. And they'll all get the same, well, you have the option either to grade them individually or give them one grade. The intent of the group assignments originally was to give the students one grade for the assignment so that the group had to work together in order to get a decent grade. Creating group assignments is just done in the way that you usually create assignments. You either go to the modules tool and create an assignment there, or you go to the assignments tool and create a homework assignment there by clicking the add assignment button. And you give the assignment a name, group writing assignment or something like that. You provide instructions. Create a one-page document describing the impact of the virus pandemic on higher education, just to try to make it something topical. And in the usual way, you'd assign points, you'd put it in an assignment group, you'd almost certainly have an online submission type. You would probably want a file upload, period. This is all basic assignment creation stuff. You could choose to have plagiarism review. And here is where you make it a group assignment. Click on that group. You can choose, and this somebody screamed and Canvas put this in, I guess. You can choose to assign grades to the students in the group individually for this assignment. That is not the default. The default is to give everybody in the group the same grade for the assignment based upon their collaborative work. And that's really the whole point of group assignments. But there will be screaming and hollering from the students about, well, how come Joey and I get the same group and I did 3 times as much work, or get the same grade, and I did 3 times as much work as Joey. So that's why they put this option in, to have them allow you to assign grades individually to students. But that sort of defeats the whole purpose of doing group work, in my view. But you have that option. I can understand why people wanted it. In order to assign this to a particular group, you select a group or as a particular group set, I should say. Here, Canvas is notorious for using inconsistent terminology. Instead of saying select a group set, they say select a group category, because they thought that made more sense here. But in fact, this is a group set. So the word category and set are used to mean the same thing here. And we only had the one, but you might have multiple group sets within a course. Or you could even create a new group set from right here by clicking on this button and not having to go back to the people button and so on and navigate in that way. So assigning this to a group is pretty straightforward. And then you can save it. And if we publish it, then it'd be available to the students within that group. How would they find it? Well, they'd find it the same way they find any other assignment. And let me log out and log back in here just to make sure that gets updated. The student should be able to see that assignment now. Since I've left the assignments button here for the students, they can go in there and there's an assignment right there, group writing assignment. I didn't clear out the rest of these from a previous session. Sorry about that. But there's the one we just created. They can click into, the student can click into that and submit the assignment in the usual way. And here's it. Keep in mind, this submission will count for everyone in your midterm project group. So normally only one person, one designated person in the student group submits a group assignment. If you get multiple submissions, you're going to have to hope that it's the same file each time, because there's nothing stopping another student from going in and doing that. And then the student would browse for the file and submit it. Open and submit the assignment. And that then is the assignment for the submission for the entire group. So fairly basic.
So Dave, when you assign
Yes. Yes.
the assignment to that set, it goes to both of the two groups you created.
Exactly. Each of the groups within the group set has the access to that assignment. So presumably unless it's something that you don't, when you create a group set and groups within that set, you don't have to assign every student in the course to one of the groups in that group set. So that group set might still apply to a subset of the students in the course, but everybody who's enrolled in a group within that group set will have access to this assignment. Right.
Okay.
Good question. Can we access the groups before they do? Yes, and you can access them at any time. Let's go back to your view of the groups. You can go to the People tab or People link at any time, and you'll see a tab here for each of the group sets that you've created. And you can go to that tab, go to the group page, and there's in the context menu for the group set up here at the top of the page, in the top right, you can click on that and, oh, no, I'm sorry. There we go. You can go to the groups, not the group set, but the groups. And you can click on the context menu for each group, and you can go and see their little group homepage or their little group course. And then you can do things like create pages for them. But they're supposed to be able to do that too, and I just don't know why that's not working today. I didn't think to check that before I started today. You, as the instructor, can also jump quickly between groups and have full access again. But again, you should not, and you have access to create discussions and so on. I'm just not quite sure why that's not working. I got a feeling a setting has been changed in Canvas that I don't know about. So I'll find out and I'll get back to you on that. That's one of the reasons that I ask you to put your email address in the chat tool. Okay, so those are course groups. Those are things that you set up. Students, however, can do this themselves within certain limits. Here I'm logged in as a student into this same course. And if the student goes to the People tab, they have a Groups tab too, or they have a Groups tab. Whereas you had individual tabs for each group set you created, they have just a Groups tab. And if they click on that, they see the course groups that are set up in here, and they can access their group under this. They can even visit other people's groups. This student is enrolled in midterm project group 1, as I recall, but they can visit group 2's homepage and see things and so on. They can also create their own groups, so-called student groups, as opposed to course groups. Just by clicking on this Add Group button, they give it a group name, like Homework Group. For writing assignment, or whatever, just a descriptive name. And hopefully they'll also spell it right. They can set it up so that by default, anybody who's in the course can join this group. They'd see it on their groups, in their groups tab in People, and they could join if they wanted to. There'd be a join button. Or the student who makes the group can set it to be by invitation only. In which case they can't put other students into this group, but they can invite them. Like, I only want the even numbered students here to be able to get to my group. So I can invite them to it. Or I can just let people join it at random. So here's this group. If I log in as a different student, I invited test student 2 to this group. Let me log in as test student 2. If I go to this same group, the same course, and go to people and groups, I can access that group automatically. And I can add pages. I can create discussions. I can upload files. And I have a generous allotment of file space. And this is how I expected that to work. Okay. So students can work on a homework project here that's not necessarily it can be anything. It doesn't have to be a group assignment. It could be anything. It could be something in another course, for that matter. Whatever, you don't know. You can look in on these groups, but you can't control what they can do within them. And those, again, will always be available under People tab.
So Dave, when somebody sets up a group, one of the students, and
Right.
they invite specific other students to join,
Mhm.
where do the other students see that invite?
They should see that right here.
Okay.
And oh, wait a minute. And in fact, they've been invited. Well, you'll note that they are already in there. So all I have to do is click visit. That's not how I was led to believe that would operate from the Canvas documentation. So I got to look at that. So it's simple enough. They just click into it, visit it, and rock and roll. From the People tab, they just go to Groups and visit that group. Okay. And I've got to check out the settings in Canvas and see. I don't want to get into the administrative screens here right now and so on, but I'll check that out and I'll let you know if there's any changes that I have to make in that. All right. That sort of covers the basics of this. Do you have any other questions about Canvas groups before we move on to just general questions?
I think I used a Canvas group last semester. I think.
All right.
Well, I was trying to figure out, I had one student who had to take, like even after the semester ended, he had to take 2 or 3 makeup tests.
Right.
And so I couldn't figure out how to assign it only to him, since everybody had still had access to Canvas, and I didn't want them all freaking out. So I
I
think what
hear
I
you.
did was I created a group and I assigned
You
the
can do
test
that.
to that group. I think that's what I did.
Well, indeed, you can do that. With assigned homework assignments as well. But let's look at quizzes first. I have a couple of quizzes in here. Let me just take one of them. Go to it. Oop, I'm in as the student, sorry. Let me be me again. Okay, if I go to quizzes and pick a quiz and edit that quiz, by default, this quiz is assigned to everyone. But if I wanted to assign it just to a particular student group, I can do that.
Oh.
Let's see, can you do that? Let me make sure. Intern project group. No, I'm sorry, it's assignments you can do that with, not quizzes. You can, however, assign individual students to a quiz at different times than other students. You do that by going to this assign to block and you click in there and you have a list of all of your students. You take out everyone, of course, because you don't want everyone to see this. And you could assign it to, say, test student 1 and test student 2 only. And you can set due dates and availability dates that apply only to these students. You can also do something like assign the quiz to everyone, and then add another assignment block. And you can have different dates. So I can assign this to, say, test student 1 only as well. And I can set a different due date. And a different availability date. And save that. Oh, and I have to, up here, I'll assign it to everyone else with these dates and to just this student with these dates. So that's how you give one or more students late or early access to a test. And you're sort of creating groups ad hoc. You're not actually creating student groups, but you're creating groups ad hoc here for this particular quiz. With an assignment, on the other hand, make sure, like, here's our, I'll just pick this assignment and edit it. And you can make these changes after you create the assignment sometime. Here, yeah, no, you have basically the same capabilities as you do with tests. You can give particular students access to an assignment late or early, just as you can a quiz, and set different due dates for different groups. And this is where you do that with the assign to block and having multiple assign to blocks. This is not part of the student groups functionality so much in Canvas as it is just functionality built into assignments and quizzes. But that's how you can accomplish that. If
Well, I'm
you
using WebAssign
Ah,
for homework and tests, but
right.
that was how I got around having a column in the grade book that looked like everybody
everyone
should.
saw. Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah. I think
right.
that's,
That would work.
yeah.
Okay. Any other questions about this before we move on?
Yeah, actually, you had said something about the students can create their own discussion group.
Yes.
And if they do that, will Canvas provide for closed caption?
A discussion group?
Right.
No, Canvas doesn't provide closed captions, period.
Okay.
If a student were to say upload a video to a discussion post or a page that they created in a student group, they would be able to, if they put it on YouTube, the captions would automatically appear. Or if they put it in the Zoom cloud, the captions would automatically appear. But Canvas doesn't have any organic captioning capability. At least not right now for us.
Right.
There is a new, go ahead.
And one last question. Do you have any recordings on how to do breakout groups? Or
Yes,
breakout rooms?
breakout rooms in Zoom.
Right.
Yes. Let
Okay.
me hold that just for a second and ask and see if anybody else has any more group questions or questions about student groups in Canvas right now. As obviously, if you have them later, just ask. But I don't want to leave this topic until we've exhausted what people have right now. Okay, I see a couple there. Nancy. Nancy, I think you're muted. For whatever reason, we're not hearing. Actually, I don't see a mute symbol on your, but we're not hearing you. Apparently, your microphone is not functioning. I am so sorry. Can you put your question in the chat tool? You have. There it is. What about grading? When we go to the Grade Center and see one submission per group, do we need to go individually and add that grade to everyone? No, in the speed grader, when you grade the one submission, there'll only be one submission there. That submission should, that grade should automatically appear for everyone. Thank you for putting that in. I'm sorry. Now I do see you as muted, but it's still not working. At some point, if you have a chance, you might want to do the test your microphone and speakers. It's under let's see, I am sharing this, yes. Under the, right next to the mute button, there's a menu and there's an audio or a test speaker and microphone. Check, check. And that will at least tell you if your microphone's working or not. Okay, good.
Let me ask you, I had a question.
Good.
So I was wondering about using groups to sort of give students a chance to do some interactive
Right.
work, since we're all very isolated. And it
Indeed.
looks to me that in groups, the most interaction they get would be like a written discussion forum. Is that correct?
Though they can upload videos to that and so on, and they can also create Canvas pages in their student groups.
Okay.
Where they can embed videos, images of all sorts and so on. So it's not limited to text because they will have access to the rich content editor.
They could also set up their own little Zoom things, couldn't they?
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
That was my question. If they wanted something sort of like this, just so they can talk to another person.
Yeah, they just get a basic Zoom account, right?
Exactly. Very good. I love it when the class teaches itself.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Zoom provides free basic accounts that are really quite functional.
Mm-hmm.
All a student has to do, let me pull this out of the way, is go to zoom.us and sign up. They want to know.
Right.
Yeah.
They would go through this.
Yeah, they want, of course, people can lie, but
Mhm.
if I tell them when I was born, they're going to say, no problem. You sure you feel up to this, Grandpa? Might be the only comment. And then they provide an email address. It says work email, but they're not checking. The student provides an email address, and they click sign up, and they get their own free Canvas account. The only limitations are on the free account are that they get just 100 participants per meeting, which ought to be fine.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, basic paid Zoom accounts have that limit. We have one for a so-called small and medium business account, which is a little bit more a month, but the state pays that, so we don't care about that. And we get up to 300 participants in ours, but the students in their free one get 100% of participants. They get unlimited meetings. They can hold as many meetings as they like. And if it's a one-to-one meeting where they're talking with one other person, that meeting can be of any length.
Wow.
If there are 3 or more people in the meeting, their meeting time is limited to 40 minutes, and they get cut off. But as long as they remind or warn people that that's going to happen, what Zoom doesn't tell you is that you can start another meeting immediately, and everybody can just rejoin, and you can meet for another 40 minutes. And you can just keep doing that all day long, as far as I know. So that's not really much of a limitation. They've got, you've got all the capabilities. You can share screens, talk to one another. I don't believe you have access to either polling or breakout rooms, but you can. But you can record the sessions. You just have to record them to your local computer. You don't have access to the Zoom cloud.
Okay. So if we assign them to groups in Canvas, then in their groups, they could share their email addresses with each other, because they would need that, right?
Or they could
Zoom?
just use, as long as they know who the other students are, they don't have to know their personal email addresses. They can use the Canvas inbox tool to send to those students by name without knowing their actual email address.
Perfect. Oh, that makes sense.
They don't have to share each other's email addresses. If they wanted to collaborate over Zoom, at least one person in the group would have to share their Zoom access information.
Okay.
Probably the group leader could do that.
Right.
And
otherwise
and they could collaborate via Zoom.
That's great. That's just what I was looking for. Thank you.
You bet. So you're thinking about how you might use that. That's wonderful.
Yeah. I just trying to make people feel connected in this very disconnected time.
Yeah. Well, that's where Zoom is so wonderful. Online classes have traditionally been mostly asynchronous and delivered through a learning management system like Canvas, where people didn't have to be online at the same time to participate. And they really had relatively little contact with one another, except maybe through a discussion board or some email, some messaging through the inbox tool or some equivalent thereof. And it was really a perfect setup for psychological isolation and all the negatives that are associated with that. And it was the biggest single problem really with online courses, was that sense of isolation that students felt. Some of them were fine with it, some of them loved that, but vast majority of people really want to connect with one another and with you as the instructor. And I've seen online courses, I won't name any names, but I've seen online courses where the course was set up in my whatever lab and it just kind of ran on autopilot and with very little engagement by the instructor or very little engagement of between students. And we are specifically enjoined by accreditation standards, among other things, from doing that sort of thing. So indeed, our next seminar on Monday, training seminar, is on humanizing your course, which basically is edu speak for creating more interaction in the course, between you and your students and between students. And this is a great way to do it. And using Zoom along with Canvas is a huge factor in minimizing psychological isolation in courses, having some synchronous activity. And even if students, for whatever good reason, can't attend your live Zoom session, and in a fully online course, you can't really force them to do so in most cases, but you can make it, worth their while.
Yeah.
But even if they can't, for whatever reason, attend, you can record it and put a link to the Zoom recording in Canvas so that they can view it at a later time and get most of the same benefit. Because if they have questions that you don't happen to answer for someone else during that session, they can always message you in Canvas and ask you their question. So that just having that Zoom component to your online course, even if you can't require them to be there, I think is really important.
Yeah.
And it's
Thank you.
something
That's
that
very
wasn't
helpful.
emphasized for a long time in online courses, because everybody was just focused on using Canvas, using a learning management system. And tools like Zoom, until a few years ago, either didn't exist or they were so complicated and expensive to use that they weren't practical for students to use individually, or for instructors, individual instructors to use. Okay.
Dave,
How about some more questions?
The aspect of the online course that comes up for me, because I did half of my class online last semester, was the access to internet, access to computers, access to all that kind of stuff. Will we talk about that maybe in the humanizing course, or do you know if there's anything going on there that's going to help students?
That's going to help the students? Well, I know that there have been initiatives to try to provide students who didn't have computers with laptops. I don't think it was very extensive, and it was done on basically a college by college basis, and even in some cases department by department basis, or school within college basis. But I don't think that reached that many people, quite frankly. There have been a lot of different colleges have sent different sets of resources out to students via email. And we have, on our Online Learning Pathways website, we have student resource areas. But nothing we've done has really eliminated the problem, the very serious problem that you bring up. And it's something that has been a real problem for some students, particularly with it happening, over a 2-3 week period in the middle of the spring term. Students have been surprisingly adaptive and flexible about it. One thing that helps with Canvas and Zoom is that they're both exceptionally mobile friendly. So students who don't have computers very often do have smartphones or tablets, or access, or access to computers through friends or family and so on. Of course, for the long, another lifeline that students have historically had with online courses was public computers available in public libraries. Those are only beginning to come available, even here in Idaho. I don't think the public libraries are open yet in California. So that's
No, just for picking up reserved books and stuff like that.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Same here until quite recently. And it's still not, even if they were accessible, I wouldn't recommend a student go in and use them, because it's a, just an invitation to contracting the coronavirus. So what can we do? Well, like I say, the mobile friendly nature of both Canvas and Zoom is critical, because it's relatively unusual for a student to have neither a phone nor a smartphone or a computer. And they can really take their Canvas courses on the smartphone. The Canvas student app is incredibly powerful compared to most learning management system mobile apps that we've seen in the past, which were just kind of conveniences. This one, you can really actually take the course on the smartphone and do almost everything. You can participate in discussions, you can submit, you can create documents and submit them to assignments. You can take quizzes of all types. I really can't think of a major limitation that prevents a student from doing any common activity in Canvas on a smartphone in lieu of a computer.
Yeah, I think the more common complaint I've heard is internet access rather than
Internet access.
no smartphones. But
yeah.
In your experience, do they need internet access to do everything they need to do in Canvas?
Well, yeah, they can like create documents for an assignment offline.
Yeah.
On their smartphone, and they're like Microsoft Office on the smartphone is free. And they can even dictate their documents and so on. It's marvelous. But in terms of accessing Canvas, they've got to have internet access. That's one place where libraries have been helpful. Many libraries have left their Wi-Fi on, and you could drive into the parking lot, and if you got close enough to the building, you could get enough of a signal to sign on to the public Wi-Fi and use it. And lots of places are still providing public Wi-Fi. Your average McDonald's, if you get close enough to the door or close enough to the building, you'll be able to use their Wi-Fi as well. So students have been pretty adept at doing that. We've published some public Wi-Fi maps that list public Wi-Fi hotspots. And I'm emphasizing Wi-Fi because that's free to the students generally. If they use their own, they can access Canvas via the cellular connection on their phones, but there they use their own bandwidth, which they're paying for, and which is limited in most cases. And accessing Canvas doesn't use that much bandwidth. So it's pretty practical for students to do a lot of their work on Canvas using their own cellular accounts. That's Zoom good. Is another matter. Yeah. Zoom uses a fair bit of bandwidth, and there they really want to be in a Wi-Fi connection, unless they have an unusually robust, unlimited data account, which, those are expensive. A lot of our students are not going to have those.
Our colleges have published. Yes. Our colleges have published things out to at least to the faculty, probably to the students. Yes. Certain parking lots they could park in, right, that they could access the Wi-Fi. So yeah, I've made sure my students knew that, but they don't. Some of them are not even in town anymore. They've gone back to LA to live with their families, and take care of a relative or, you know,
Right.
God, the scenarios are just crazy.
And they may or may not have internet access at home. So there they have to
Exactly.
find their own. We used to call that war driving. And it's terrible that students are having to do that. And I know the colleges are doing everything they can to mitigate that, but complete mitigation has not been possible and is not likely to be. So this is a further example of the so-called digital divide and some students being disenfranchised.
Yeah.
But at least, but the feeling is disenfranchised is better than being put at risk of losing their lives. So we're doing the best we can in that regard. And everyone is, I know. Okay, great discussions. Any more questions about anything?
Yes.
I think I saw Yusra's hand go up first by about a microsecond.
Any questions? Okay, about the videos and also about the syllabus. I post the syllabus maybe at least 6-7 times. What I'm doing wrong? I want to show it to you and see what I'm doing wrong. And the other thing, I found out just yesterday that the Lenovo laptop, when I want to copy, I'll the Control and the C, and when I want to paste, the Control and the V. And this is new information.
That's standard
for me. And I've been trying many times to do the URL, and it was impossible for me. I said, "What I'm doing? What's going on?" And
right, if you
it takes days and days.
Oh my, yeah. If you like needed to copy this URL, for instance, there's two ways to do it. You can right-click, or with the use the right mouse button on your laptop, and you'll have an option to copy that to the clipboard. That's what I usually show in these sessions because I can show that happening. And that puts that URL on the clipboard. And then if you go somewhere like to an assignment and you need to paste it.
Right.
Oops, that's not an assignment. I'm sorry. That's a quiz.
Is it okay if I show you mine?
Well, let me just finish this so we can.
Okay.
Let me just go to edit here real quick, and you can paste that into any text box in Canvas by right-clicking and pasting it. But Control-C will work for copy, and Control-V will work for paste on any Windows computer. On the Mac, it's Command-C and Command-V do the same thing. Okay, now let's check and see what's happening with your syllabus.
Okay.
I can do that.
I'll share my screen.
Oh no, I can do it from here.
Oh, please. And also the
here. People,
video captions. Those two things.
right. Yeah. There you are. And there's your shell. And let's look at your syllabus that you posted here. That looks fine.
Oh, okay. At last. I don't know how many days I've been doing that.
You can edit this.
Yes,
part.
I left it for later because this is
okay. So you know how to do that. But yes, you posted. You've attached your syllabus here. It looks fine.
Okay.
Great. Okay, what was the other thing you were having trouble with?
The video that I made, and I saw all kinds of languages, all kinds of stuff, but in the end, I think I did it. So I just want to see if it's right.
Okay. Well, let me look to see that. I'll need to go to the training course. And let me pull that offline so that I don't share anybody else's stuff here. And I'm always happy to do things like this for anybody who has a question about the training course.
Thank you.
Let me, sorry, this takes a second. This course has gotten so huge that the grade book takes about 30 seconds to load.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. That doesn't help with grading, as you can imagine. Come on. Sorry, it's still coming up. Having Zoom running at the same time doesn't help. And I don't know if you have noticed it, but I've noticed over the last day or two, Canvas has been a little slow.
Yes. Yes.
There you are. And let me look here at your 2.7.
Oh, that's the video. Yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm. There it is. Okay, I've got that up in the speed grader now. Let me pull that back over here. This can take a moment too, sorry. So every time somebody grades an assignment in this course, they have to wait for this to happen. Okay.
And here it is, I think.
And here is your link.
Okay.
That's what we need.
Oh, and here's the video. That's.
Yeah, that's the link to the video, right? Yeah.
I hope so.
All right. I just copied that. I just copied that to my clipboard using Control-C.
Okay.
Open up a new tab. Control-V puts that in. Enter.
This is Professor Yusra Kudaima. I want to congratulate my students at Grossman.
No captions.
Oh, I have captions, believe me.
They are not playing. That's
maybe the other one.
Let me go back. Yeah, let me go back and see
Okay.
if there's another link there.
Because I did so many of them.
Right. That appears to be the same link. Let's try this
About
one.
the last one? Yes, this one maybe.
Yeah. I didn't see that one. That's even
Maybe
better.
that's the last one.
And there we are.
This is Professor Yusra Kudaima.
Where is the captions? Oh, here it is.
Grossman College and also at City College. Congratulations, class of 2020. I'm so proud of you. Good luck.
Okay, so it's done?
Go.
You're done.
Oh my God, I don't know how many days, how many sleepless nights. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay.
It's graded. Okay.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
Dave, when you upload something to YouTube and it puts the captions in,
Yes.
is there a way to make them larger? Mine are always so tiny.
That is governed by YouTube.
I haven't ever seen a setting for that, but
No,
Yusra's were so large.
It's normally automatic.
I wrote them.
Oh, okay.
Maybe no, that shouldn't. What the text shouldn't matter. Let's see. They've always been about that size for me. Let's see. Caption size in YouTube. You have a question like that.
Yeah, I never even Googled it.
change caption size and style. At the bottom right of the video player, click Settings, Subtitles, Options. Oop.
And reach your goal. I hope what
Let's see. No, that's, Let me look at, I know I can't edit this one, so let me go to mine. That's not something I've done. Let me pick up a particular video here. Okay, here's the details page for this video. Let's see, is it subtitles?
What about editor?
Editor has to do with editing the video itself, not the captions.
Sorry.
Okay, and edit. That just takes me to the,
Yeah, I've poked around that screen a whole bunch, but I'm sure I can Google it and figure out something. But mine
here we
are
go.
not that size at all. They're little teeny tiny. You know.
Here we go.
Aha.
Oh.
Subtitles, I believe. Nope, that just and options.
Oh, there you go. Font size.
Yeah, here we go.
That's good. I can't even read the subtitles on my, or the captions.
Font size can be set lower or higher.
Nice. Thank you.
All right. Let's hear it for Google. Yes, April.
Yeah, first, I have some questions about the use of art through PowerPoint. I use a lot of art in my Spanish classes, and after doing Module 2, I was having nightmares about, copyright and permissions and all of that. Can I still use PowerPoint slides? Can I be doing this through
available to students asynchronous, or talking about using them in Zoom or using them asynchronous in Canvas?
There are two questions. My primary mode of instruction is going to be Zoom, and I know how to do PowerPoint through Zoom. So the question is, do I have the right to show those PowerPoint slides through Zoom?
And you're using copyrighted images.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Diego Rivera and Frida Kahlo are dead. I can't get their permission.
I hear you. Well, yeah, if it's in the public domain, that's not a problem. But someone may, even if the artwork is in the public domain, the image of the artwork may be copyrighted. Someone took a picture of it, and the picture, it may be copyrighted.
Well, I sure have a lot of PowerPoint.
Yeah, where did you acquire these images?
Oh gosh, over years through Google Image, just over years through Google Image.
Okay. Through Google Images mainly, yeah. In many cases, those images are copyrighted. So reusing them that way would probably be a technical violation of copyright.
Oh gosh.
Would you ever get in trouble for it? Highly unlikely.
I'm also assuming that I should not send them to students, because that's the other issue, is that...
No, I would definitely not do that. But if you put say a PowerPoint presentation in your in your Canvas course, the student can download that presentation and then extract that image from the slide. So technically you are sending it to them.
So
if
I should
you
not
show
do
it
it.
in Zoom, that would not apply. They wouldn't be able to copy it then.
Okay, so I can still use it for classroom instruction.
But yes, that's the trick. You can use it for physical classroom instruction, but a virtual classroom is treated differently for copyright.
Yeah, I remember what you said to the film study teacher when you said he couldn't plug in the DVD or he paid $30,000. So what do you think when I'm Zooming? Can I use these slides? Do I worry that someone's going to call the cops?
Basically the same thing. That if those are copyrighted images, and you probably have to assume they are, that is, it seems to me, and I'm not a copyright lawyer, understand, but and I'm not a copyright specialist in a library anymore either. I had that role as one of my jobs at one point, but it's been a long time. The chances of you getting caught or getting called on doing that are extremely remote. But it does seem to me that it would be a technical violation of copyright.
Well, what do you suggest I do then?
Well, that's a good question. Well, try to find images that are specifically in the public domain. You may have to replace some of your images.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got thousands of them. These are PowerPoints for every artist.
I understand this is not something you can do overnight.
Yeah.
I can tell you what I'd probably do.
What would you do?
I'd probably use them and replace them as quickly as I could and as often.
That's what I figured, and don't send them to anyone. I'm also assuming that when I have images in my syllabus, I should remove because that's something that's going to be sent to students.
Well, certainly they can view it, and they can download images from it. So
remove images from my syllabus. Okay, now I have
if they're not images to which you own copyright. Yeah.
I don't own the copyright. No, these are paintings. I decorate my syllabus with a lot of paintings, and I will remove them. Okay, the last question is a silly one. I did modules 1 and 2, and I'm new to this, and so I didn't take a break. I was terrified that if I went to sleep or went out to forage for toilet paper and I turned, that it would all disappear. So what?
Bless your heart. No.
So long as I've entered, when I turn off the computer, what I have completed, will it be saved? That's the question.
Yes.
Like I an essay and I submit.
If you have submitted an assignment, it will survive. It will be there when you come back.
And I can turn it off. Okay.
Oh yeah, you can turn it off.
That's
you
a
don't
relief.
have to log out. You don't have to leave it logged in and hope your computer doesn't reboot, the power doesn't go off and so on. No. Not
One more question, and this may be, I know other people have questions. Is it possible for you to check my video? Because it took me about a half an hour to make it and 10 hours to upload it. I hear.
Oh my God, okay.
Yeah, you sir, I'm on the same page.
Believe me, I got more than that. Days and days and days. Until 4 or 5 in the morning.
I understand.
I was sitting.
I was crying and shrieking and screaming and wondering why I was doing this. I'm not making it. It was just uploading it.
Yeah.
And this is in the new course, isn't it?
Yes.
Because I'm not seeing.
We were allowed. Yeah, we were allowed to do modules 1 and 2.
Oh yeah. I just went to the wrong course.
Yeah.
No,
that's fine. I know you've got 2 groups of students here today.
Okay, I'm navigating to the new course here. That's 1819. Where's it? There.
I did this yesterday.
Excellent. This one doesn't have as many people in it, so it'll be a lot faster.
It's just me. Yeah.
Well, no, there's actually about 200 or 300 people in this one already. But it'll be a lot faster to get to your.
Well, I did it in the afternoon. I got up at like 7 in the morning.
I'm I'm glad somebody's feeling my pain.
Oh no, I feel all your pain, Yusra. I've come to enjoy your questions because they're the same questions I have. If I get through this, I will be in an institution by the time it's over.
Oh my God.
The submission is there.
Oh, that's something.
I'm pulling it up. Then I'll share it.
Congratulations.
Okay. Oh, very nice. You gave us a little, oh, and somebody's already viewed it.
Oh my goodness.
And so remember, this is a discussion forum, so other people will be able to view your video, and somebody enjoyed it. But here's your video. Let's take a look. It's a Zoom cloud video. That's great.
Hola, bienvenidos.
Where are my
Hello.
closed captions?
Welcome.
Oh yeah, there they are.
Ah.
I call myself April. Mi nombre es Abril. My name is April. Soy Abril. I am April.
Oh, you
Indeed, I
pulled
am.
up the wrong one.
I am a Spanish professor for first course in Spanish.
I thought I had deleted that one. Well, that was not the one that I submitted yesterday.
Let me go back and look. And
It's the
see if
same
there's
problem Yusra had because I did so many of them.
No, there's only, let's see.
Uh-oh.
This is a comment. Oh, this is a comment you made to someone else.
To someone
This
else.
is
I
the
was
only, yeah, this is the only submission we have for you
Well,
here.
it wasn't a
It
bad
looks
one.
great.
Can you view it again? Because it was not the one I wanted to submit. If you could view it again.
Oh yeah, you can resubmit.
Yeah, because no, I mean, is this one okay? I mean, oh no, I understand.
It was looking fine.
No, it's just it wasn't the one that I had originally wanted to submit, but it is.
There's the captions. So.
Yeah, it was the long one.
Hola, bienvenidos. Hello, welcome. And I will receive the opportunity to share the beautiful culture of the Spanish language with you. I hope that you enjoy my course. Hasta pronto.
I don't know why you need to resubmit.
Okay. Well,
Everything
yeah,
looks great.
All right. Well, okay.
Hey, Dave, I don't know if you can do this for me, but I know I came late to the meeting. I apologize. I had another mentor meeting.
No problem.
Thanks. So I resubmitted, I finished a week ago, but I resubmitted my outline. And I just
yeah.
this morning because Ingrid said I needed a summary. And when it's a video, she said, it's a good idea to put in the minutes and seconds so students know like how much time to allot. So like
That's a good idea, but it's not something that should cost you points.
Well, I think the summary cost me points. So I got 3 out of 5. So I just.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would cost you points.
So I'm like.
And April, you're graded.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So,
it took, I just got Microsoft Word on my Mac. So
right.
I did it today, I submitted it today. So I'm wondering if you could look at it, and I don't know if you can allot points, but it's 4.8. And I'm in the one that ends on Tuesday. It ends June 30th.
You're in the current.
Yes. Because
all right, let me pull that up on another screen here.
The dean's office asked, like, I don't know when I get my certificate either, because they've asked, what's the date?
You get the certificate once they finish the grading, and you've completed, I assume you completed the certification statement and all that.
Yes.
Yeah. You'll get that as soon as they finish grading, and that will be just as soon as they can get to it.
No, I know they have like a.
They're obviously they're prioritizing people who have submitted everything.
Right.
But they're not going to be done grading that course on June 30th. There's just no way, because there's still thousands of submissions to grade. They do have a new cohort of graders coming online on July 1st because the new fiscal year, they can pay some people to help. So things will speed up a little bit, but it's still going to be sometime into July before they get all those certificates out for sure. But let me go take a look at that one, and that's about all I can say. I don't know when that will happen.
No, that's fine.
But let's go to the grades. And it takes, this course is so huge, it takes a minute for the grade book to load. So let me take a look at it.
Like 1,000 people, right?
1,040 or something like that right now.
And
While I'm waiting on that, does anybody else have another quick question? There it loaded. And this was
4.8, I believe.
4.8. I see the submission. Let me pull that up. And go to the speed grader. Sorry, this takes a minute too.
No, thank you so much for all your help. I would be bald now.
Thanks, Daphne.
What?
Somebody put something in the chat tool. I was just replying to it.
I would be bald now from the frustration because I like the other people that spoke, April and Yusra and probably other people. I could do the assignment, but getting it to the right place in the right, I mean, the uploading or whatever, that was difficult sometimes.
Okay, let's see. Let me look at the. Okay, yeah, that's a nice tip, but you wasn't taking anything. And add a summary, which you did. That looks fine.
Okay. Yay! Sorry, I'm so excited. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All righty. Let's see.
Do you have one more minute or no?
Of course, of course.
How about
let me get out of this real quick.
Okay.
So that I'm not exposing other users' information and so on.
Okay.
All right.
6.11 and 6.12, because this goes with this one too. I already did them,
Okay.
but I'm not sure if I'm right.
Let me look. Okay. Wait for it to come up again. This is one of the things that is slowing us down. This course was, nobody ever had any concept that this course would get this big.
It's real big. Real big.
And everything slows down when it's worked surprisingly well. I mean, Canvas really wasn't designed for this for a course to get this big.
Dr. Dave, why they change it from Blackboard to Canvas, and isn't it the same?
Well, no, they're not the same. There was a statewide decision when the online education initiative was started. It was an idea, it was an intent to give all of the state community colleges access to a learning management system. Some had not had access or had been using something like Moodle, which is free to use. And the idea was to get everybody on the same learning management system so that students could effectively move from college to college and take online courses and not have to relearn a different learning management system every time.
Okay.
And the legislature provided a ton of money to buy the system for everyone. So nobody felt like they wanted to keep their own learning management system and pay for it. So there had to be one statewide choice, and there was a committee formed from the academic senate, the statewide academic senate, and everybody had representation thereupon. And the committee chose Canvas, largely because of its relative ease of use for students. And that's been about 4 or 5 years ago now that happened.
Okay.
Okay, now let's look at 6.11.
Okay.
All right, there's your submission. Let's bring it up in the speed grader. And wait for that to happen.
Oh, I thought maybe it's not
Seems
there.
like I sent you some information on this already as well, I think.
For this one?
I think so, yeah.
I did
I think it was you. A lot of people have had questions about this one, so I'm not exactly sure, but I can go
maybe
look.
not me.
Let's just take another look at it. It'll be faster.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate that so much.
Okay, so here's your link that you provided.
I didn't know how to take links, and oh my God.
Go to an assignment page. Did not go to an assignment page. Okay, let's see where it goes. Actually, that does appear to be an assignments page. Okay. Let's see, was this yes. This was a yesterday submission. Okay. All right.
And I like the colors. I start knowing how to use different colors.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Let me check something.
Use for
Check
what
something
colors? Like for the instruction? Oh,
yes.
That's cute. Yeah, I like that.
Anything to make them stand out. Just remember, you can't provide information by color because some people are colorblind.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, okay. So
it can't. You can use it for decorative purposes, but
yes.
not like look at the yellow highlights below. You can't say that because some people might not be able to distinguish them.
Maybe there's.
No, I'm just taking a quick look here at the assignment itself without getting. I don't want to get out of your submission because it takes forever to get back to it.
Okay.
So I'm looking at the 6.11 assignment to make sure I remember the exact requirements, but so far it looks fine. Okay, create an assignment that includes a rubric. Does this one have a rubric?
I think there is.
Sort of.
And then
there's a rubric there, but it needs some work.
I just took whatever is there.
Yeah, you've got it attached. Let's see, and I believe that was half credit. So you've got at least half credit at this point.
Oh no.
Access closed. Okay, right. So close, not perfect, but close. This is an assignment. It is in your practice course.
Yes.
It has a rubric. Let me view the rubric.
This is a rubric from the directions. Is that correct?
Right, right.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm going to, at this point, I'm going to, given what you've done so far, I am going to give you 7 points, give you partial credit, because you have a rubric, you just haven't fleshed it out.
From 10?
Yeah, out of 10. Wait a minute, I think that was 10, wasn't it? Yeah. And we'll just add a comment here. Your assignment.
So I need to put the rubric for it?
Is created properly.
Okay, thank you.
And you have a rubric attached. That's why I like that dictation tool. Have a rubric attached. But the rubric needs more detail. Please resubmit for full credit.
Dave,
Okay. Yes.
would you put a rubric? Where do you put those? On every assignment?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Assignment by assignment. Though you can reuse rubrics if you make them generic enough to apply to more than one assignment.
Like a writing rubric?
Generally, you would create a separate rubric for each assignment.
Okay.
And let's see how to do that. I'm going to go back into Yusra's
Because you wanted
course here.
Okay.
And I'm going to edit. Well, actually, I'm going to edit the rubric here. Yusra, you've got a rubric begun, but it's only.
I changed the points. I did.
Right, but you got to do more than that.
Okay.
You can edit, for one thing, some rubric probably doesn't cut it. You're probably going to want to edit that. You edit the name of the rubric by clicking on the little pencil icon here. And you can retype that. I'll let you decide what to call that.
Okay.
I'll cancel.
And then resubmit.
Now, you can also, like description of criterion, you need to provide a description of the criterion. Let's see what this is again. Ask for the menu and choose the food you want to eat. I like it, you're right, 10 dishes names of the food are not found in any local restaurant. Write the name of the dish, the food in English, write it in Arabic. Okay, so that you've tasked them to go out, go to some restaurants, write down the names of 10 dishes in both English and Arabic. Am I understanding? Okay.
Right.
So the first criterion is to list 10 dishes.
Oh,
so
okay.
You go here and say list 10 dishes. Well, actually, you have two requirements, one in English and in Arabic. List 10 dishes in English. And update that. That makes this mean something.
Okay.
Okay, you've got, then you've got ratings, levels of fulfillment of this criterion. And this one, you've got, by default, you've only got 2 ratings. You're going to need more. Okay. You can edit this one and say, instead of just full marks, you could say all 10 dishes listed. Update that, and that would be 10 points.
Okay.
Full credit. Well, actually, it would not be 10 points because this is only half of the assignment.
Like 5 here and 5 there.
That's it. So make that 5.
Yes.
Now, what if they do less than 5? Fewer than 5 or 10 dishes listed. You might give half credit for that.
Right.
It would be 2 points. or 3 points, 2.5 points. You can give 2.5 points if you want to.
Okay.
All right. And what if they don't list any? Well, that's going to be 0 points, right?
0, right?
So you edit this one, say 0 points, and no dishes listed.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay. So
Yes.
there you've got one criterion
Okay.
created. I'll do that for you. Now you're going to go, I'm going to save this.
And I'll do the Arabic.
And you'll do the Arabic and add criterion and then do just what I did there.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I just updated that. So now you can go in, fix that and resubmit and let me know. Just email me and I'll go in and I'll give you the full grade, the full credit.
Thank you so much. And this one, 6.12, it's depends on this one. So it's a speed grade. I think I did. I'm not sure if I did it the right way too. I'm always in doubt.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to have this one perfect in order to do 6.12. So let me pull that one up.
Okay.
Again, I have to pull that off screen so I don't expose anything here.
I don't mind. Just
does anybody else have a quick question while I'm waiting on this to reload?
Yeah, I have a question, which I've had before, and you're probably going to kill me, but I know that you, I transferred from my PC to my Mac during this whole upheaval.
Oh my, yeah.
Oh.
I just figured, why not just confuse everything? I mean, as long as I'm having to deal with everything. So anyways, I just installed Microsoft Word on my computer yesterday and everything, but
right.
You have given us links, and I know how to do, I'm on a Mac, so I do Command, Control. I have the link to the floor stand tripod, but then I don't know what do I do with it? I don't know what to do once it's copied. Do I have to run out of my meeting and, put it, bookmark it? I don't know what to do with it.
Probably you would minimize the Zoom window just for a second.
Yeah.
Just drop it down onto your taskbar for a second and then start up Word or some text editor. Text edit on the Mac would work too. And then just paste it into that and save that text file to your hard drive somewhere so you'll have it later. I'll show you in a second. But I just found, yes.
What is it? What did you say on the Mac? The test drive? I could put it in a Word doc now.
You put it in a Word document, that'll work fine.
But you said what?
There's a simple text editor on the Mac, what's called an ASCII text editor, a plain text editor. I believe it's called Text Edit. And it's in your applications folder somewhere.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those applications that comes with Mac OS.
Oh, Dr. Dave makes everything so easy. Dr. Dave makes everything easy. Oh my God.
I agree, Yusra. You helped me so much, and yeah, it's been wonderful. I had to take 6 weeks of your classes just to get up enough confidence or nerve to just even start the certification.
Oh, you're sweet. Yeah. I am so glad it's helped.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We appreciate that. Thank you so much.
So the end thing is that I need that site again for the
oh, sure. I'll pull that up here in a second.
And I'll try and copy it correctly this time. Are you giving classes next week too? Yeah,
there's one on the next one on Monday, I believe, is Humanizing your online class.
Oh, yeah. I think I'm going.
Let's see, I think you've resubmitted this. Yep, you resubmitted this one. And let me check the requirements on that again to make sure
I think speed grader, speed
Let's
Yeah.
see, in your complete, you've had the test student submit. No, that's not the speed grader. I've just looked at it clearly. This is the speed grader.
Right, right.
For your assignment. You would have to have your test students submit this assignment.
How to do that, Dr. Dave?
Okay, so what we would do is we would go into your practice
D-shell?
course. Yeah, your D shell. Let me do that on another.
Isn't it this the D shell?
Yeah, but this is you took a screenshot.
Okay.
That's right. And this is just a picture of your screen, so I can't navigate from here.
Oh.
So I have to go into your practice course in another window. I don't want to mess this up because I want to come back and
Okay.
give you feedback here and so on. But I'm going to go into your
I use
practice
Jing,
course.
I think.
There it is. Okay, here's your practice course.
Okay.
Just as you would see it.
Yes.
And what you'll do is have your test student go in by going to your home link.
Okay. Right.
And going to student view.
So she has to do this, she has to take the test as if she were a student
Correct.
and submit it. That
It's an assignment, not a test, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that I didn't really quite get myself. I did it, but so she has to become the student.
You have to become your test student, which you do
Okay.
by going into student view.
Okay, I did
And
that.
then
Oh.
go to the modules,
Yes.
and there's the assignment.
Right.
Click on that. You've submitted it.
Oh.
Good. So we don't have to do this.
Okay, I use Jing
It
for
wouldn't
it.
say resubmit if you hadn't already submitted it. So let's go to your grades.
Okay.
Oh, I have to leave student view now.
And go to the, yes.
You have to be you to do that. And now
Yes.
we'll go to here's your test student, and there's your submission for visiting a Mideastern restaurant.
Okay.
So I click on that icon, and I hit the right arrow here to go to this submission, and I go to the speed grader.
Okay. Because I use
And
Jing.
I'll see your and that's not.
I use Jing for it.
Well, let's see. Now that just takes me back to the assignment itself.
Oh.
What
So
I'm looking
what
for
I
is
did
the
wrong here.
screenshot. What I'm looking for is the student's list of 10 dishes. And you only submitted this as the student once. So you're gonna have to go back to your, let's get out of the grade book. Go back to your course. You're gonna go to the modules.
Okay.
There they are. Oh, first you're going to become your test student by going to the student view.
Okay.
And now you're going to go to modules and go to this assignment. and you're going to resubmit. And oh, here's the problem. This is set as a website URL submission, and that's not what you want in this case. You want the student just to have a text box or whatever. So we'll leave student view. We can't affect that while we're the student. Have to be you. We'll go back and we'll go to the assignments and pull up the Mideastern restaurant assignment, and we'll edit it.
Okay.
And you'll change it to either a file upload or a text entry. I think either one would be fine.
Okay.
Then you'll be able to type in your list of dishes. When you go to the, well, let me just go ahead and do that. Actually, I'll leave that for you to do. But what you could do is just bring up a word processor.
Okay.
Like Word, in a new document.
So Dave, she could actually text it. She could write it into her, right where you had it, or she could upload this document.
Correct.
Oh.
So you just list just create a list of dishes.
Okay.
Yeah, in English and in Arabic,
I
which I can't do. So but you create a Word document with that list in it, and you save it to somewhere where you'll find it again.
Okay. On the desktop.
I always have to say that because I have a bad habit of losing documents.
Yeah.
I'll put it in my. Let's call it that so I can find it again. So now I'll change this to file upload.
Okay.
You change this to file upload.
Okay.
And then go and you'll have the option to, when you go in as the test student, you'll have the option to upload a file. You upload the file, that file that you just created, and you pull it up in the speed grader, doing it the way I showed you. And then you'll take a screenshot of the screen that has the speed grader on it. I know you know how to do that because you took a screenshot, you just didn't take a screenshot of the right thing.
Okay.
And then you'll just submit it again and we'll grade it.
Hey, Dave, on this, are you allowed to do, like, say, a choice text entry or upload?
Yeah, you can give students an option if you like.
So you could check 2 boxes.
You can check 2 boxes here.
And then
You
there
can
would
do
be
both text entry and file upload.
Oh, okay.
But
so I made a mistake by giving. Okay.
Yes. So.
But you said text entry is a little easier because they just write it in there?
Right. But don't use text entry for anything that's too long. If it's something they're going to have to think about for more than a few minutes, or it's going to take them more than a few minutes to enter, I would do the file upload, because the text entry is they're using a web editor. And if you sit there and look at it long enough, Canvas will think or if you just take too long typing it, Canvas will think you're inactive, and it will cut off the submission. And when they hit submit, it won't go through and they'll lose their work. So if it's something that's going to take more than 5, maybe 15 minutes to type in, I would have them do it by file upload instead of text entry.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Because on this laptop, I don't know how to write Arabic, but on my phone, I can. Can I type it here and make what you call it, scan, make a copy, make scan, and upload it here?
Sure. Do you know how to take a screenshot on your phone?
Yeah, I do. Yes.
if it's an iPhone, you hold down the home button and press the lock button on the side.
Right. Yeah, I know
and
how
it will
to
take a
do
picture,
those.
and that goes into your photos, and then you can email that photo to yourself.
Right, right. Yeah, I can do that.
Fine. Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, thank you. Wow, you made it so easy for me. Now I can. You gave me some peace time, because it's I've been having no peace
Well,
at all.
I hope that helps. If you have further questions, just email me.
Thank you so much. And the thing also, we've been quarantined, and I heard so many cases in Bethlehem. One of my family members have the coronavirus, and they don't go to the hospital. They bring, when they hear about it, it's like a stigma. They come and pick them up, like they are criminals, like they did something.
Where do they put them when they pick them up?
They bring not a truck, it's like a wagon, or I don't know, but they take them from the house.
Oh
so
my
do
God.
they put them in a hotel?
No, they take them to the hospital. To the hospitals, yes.
That's scary.
It is, and in that apartment building, I have my family, more than 45 people there.
Whoa.
And they've been, you know how families, you know, 4 brothers with the wives, with the kids, and one of them, the one who got it.
Multi-generational extended family.
Yes.
As people have been living that way in Bethlehem for thousands of years.
That's true. And the one who got it, she's pregnant.
Oh no, bless her
Yes.
heart.
Yes.
Oh,
and now
goodness.
they are going to test everyone, and they will take them to the hospital.
Well, that's how to control an outbreak, is to test everyone. And that's what we're not doing here. It sounds a lot like it's being handled there a lot better than it is here.
Yeah, but it's a stigma. If somebody is like, oh,
Yeah.
he got sick because it's his fault, not because, you know.
Yeah, that part isn't good, but the testing part.
Yes.
I hear you.
So.
Oh, that's bad. Yeah.
So sorry, Yusra. I hope she recovers all right.
I hope so, and everybody else around.
And that everyone else is.
And you know, they write their names. They write their names in the newspapers.
Whoa.
Yes.
Oh, goodness.
They have them on Facebook. They have them in Facebook.
Why do they attribute it to their fault? Why do they say it's their fault? I mean, is that just
you know, they are not educated enough. There's naiveness in this case. That means they did not take care of themselves. That means maybe they are not clean. Maybe, you know how.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
The old, like the old times, when somebody is poor because that's from God.
Yeah.
God is not happy about.
Yeah, a curse
they
from
have
God.
The same thing. They still have the same thing.
Oh my.
So are you Lebanese or Syrian or?
I am Palestinian, Jordanian, American.
Okay, I'm actually Lebanese and Syrian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm like second generation, but my parents would speak Arabic at home to each other when they didn't want me to understand. But they would say Nammy, like go to sleep. You know, I remember things when I was a little girl, like let's go, like roh, or yeah. So
yeah, I lived in Los Angeles when my husband, God bless his soul, got his MBA from Pepperdine, and I have my son Fred. So only one word in Arabic he used to know: "I'm going to kill you." That's it.
I wonder how he knew that.
Don't lie. I'll just say the word. He will drop anything in his head.
Tell me what those words are in Arabic.
No, it's only one word.
What is it?
Ba'utlak.
Oh my.
But after that, when we went back to the state of Qatar, I put him in. He was only 4 years old, so I have to put him in like a nursery where they taught him, English and Arabic. So he started using half of the sentence Arabic, half English, until he got it. He got it, and he started playing with the other kids and learned bad words. He didn't know what they mean. So I was in his case.
That's so cute. That's a sweet story.
Oh gosh, you said, do you get to talk to your family much, or?
Yes, especially when on Messenger. Messenger is free. It's free.
Right.
I can see them, and sometimes the connections is not that great.
Yeah, we've been having that trouble today.
Yeah, when you have 45 people in that building and everybody's using the internet, and maybe they steal from each other internet. I don't know.
Yeah.
But at least you do have some contact with them that way.
Oh yes, I do. From Jordan, from Qatar, from London. I have from London. I have everywhere. So yes, I do.
That's
yeah,
so
my wife was online with our granddaughter in London this morning, just before I started this session.
How old is your granddaughter?
She's 9.
Oh.
And they're, of course, all the schools are shut down, so my wife's helping with the homeschooling. That's something they haven't done that well in England.
I think they are using Zoom
that
too.
we have here, so.
Yes. I think there are so many cases in London too.
Oh my goodness, yes.
I've been hearing about it and watching the news, and seems to be they are.
Yeah, so are we. They're frightened. We just sent our kids some money to buy them so they could buy themselves a car, so that they wouldn't have to ride public transportation, which is, I love the public transportation.
Is it open, the underground? The underground is
open? Yeah, it's all open, yeah.
I was
it's the
in
only way
London
for people to get around, really.
Yes.
Parts of London you can't drive in, so.
Yeah, but that was smart to give them money to get a car. They need a car.
Yeah, they needed that. Well, any other Canvas questions or anything else?
I hope to keep your family. I pray that they keep them safe, and thank you so much.
Same to you, Yusra. We really hope everything goes well.
I hope so. Thank you so much. And this, believe me, affect our mental, mental health. We are in quarantines. We have families all over the world, and we hear bad news about it. Canvas, and I'm sorry to say a little bit, we are learning how to use to humanize, but Canvas a little bit unhuman.
It can be if you don't use a lot of the techniques that we'll talk about. Yeah.
Well, being a digital immigrant, it's
harder for us.
Half of the time you're figuring out how to get, do it digitally. I mean, you did the assignment, but okay, I didn't have the right URL, or I didn't, whatever.
Sometimes by accident. And believe me, I have my grandson who's 10 years old. I have grandkids 25 to 6 years old. He knows better than me.
Oh no,
He knows, my grandkids, 4 of them born here and 4 in the Gulf states. But the ones here, oh my God, the one who's 6 and the other one who's 10, believe me, they know better on the electronics than me. I have to ask them sometimes.
They're digital natives, right? As they say, Dave?
Well, some are, but nobody's born knowing how to do this.
Yes,
so
yes.
They've had more opportunity to access it at a time when their minds were more flexible than when it happened to us. So they do have an easier time with it in many cases, but you can't assume just because someone is young that they're competent in computer use. We run into that all the time with our students.
Oh,
Okay.
Some are
Thank you so
very
much. Thank you.
competent and others not so much.
Thank
So
you
it's
so
not an
much.
assumption you can make.
I have
Okay,
some
well,
more questions.
absolutely.
Well, does your granddaughter have a British accent?
She actually has a mixture of a British and a Polish accent. Her mother is Polish and her father is American, but who's our son is my stepson, and his biological father was British and Irish. And but Patrick was raised in this country and lived there until he was like, in his 20s. So she has a combination of a British, Polish, and American accent, which is delightful.
We can't sense it from you. You are British, but we don't send
I'm a hillbilly. I grew up in West Virginia.
Oh,
You have a very slight accent. It's nice. It's very nice.
And I lived in Georgia for 35 years.
Oh, okay.
So there had to be some impact there.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, my other question was I need that website for the
right. Thank you for reminding me.
And I will copy it immediately and order it immediately.
Let me find that again.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I'm happy to help with any of the submissions in the training course that way. I'll get you started and then you can finish it yourself.
Yeah, that's invaluable.
Thank you.
Oh, let's see. This is easier to find if I go to my orders.
Have a nice day.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
You too, Yusra. Take care.
Marlene, one day maybe we'll get together. I'll make you some Arabic food.
Oh, yeah, I would love that.
Oh, I love
Dr. Dave too, and Dr. Dave.
love Middle Eastern food.
Me too. I just don't eat meat anymore, so.
Oh, okay.
And I have to eat grape leaves. Yeah.
And falafel, maybe we'll.
Falafel.
Yes.
Lubi.
Oh, God,
Lubi.
Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to find my order here. I guess that was more than 30 days ago. Son of a gun. Wouldn't have thought it.
So Dave, are
There
you
it is.
through July?
Okay, and let's see if this one.
I don't know what.
This is the one they're recommending. There it is, Amazon's Choice. It's not the one I got, but it's nearly identical to it.
But it only has.
And here's the URL.
Which one did you get though?
I got the let's see, back up one. I got this one because that's what they had at the time that I was ordering. But this one they don't have anymore. It's available from somebody else.
Oh, okay.
So this is the one they're recommending, and it appears to be the same thing, to tell you the truth.
Yes, you were. Yours had 4.5 stars. This only has 4.
Yeah. So I don't know. Oh, they do have.
Is it bad if it comes from other people?
Not necessarily. Let's see who. Oh, it's fulfilled. Oh, this is a used one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. So they're apparently not carrying this one anymore, but if you look, this one appears to be the same thing.
Yeah.
The picture is the same. It may have one less extension tube, but that's not important. So it's still going to be tall enough. And here's the URL.
I want it to be so I can stand here and do a video on it, but also use the
right. Oh yeah, this will work for that.
Okay, great. Okay, so is it in the, do I check?
I'm about to put it in the chat.
Oh, okay, all right.
This is,
Was yours a Haytint? That's the name of the brand? Was yours Haytint?
no, I don't. I'm not even sure I know what the brand was on this one, to tell you the truth. I'm not sure it had a brand on it.
Okay.
Smartphone stand.
Because I watched a video, some guy said you need to be careful about the holder of the phone, because sometimes it's not sturdy, you know.
Yeah, well, the one I got is so sturdy that I can barely get it apart to get the phone in it. I don't think that's going to be it. And this one looks, like I say, it looks identical to the one I have.
Right. Okay, great.
I suspect it's the same thing, just sold by someone else.
Oops.
And it's in the chat tool.
Yeah. So when I do that, do I right click it or left click it?
Just
copy.
I just copy it. Let me bring that over. I just highlight the URL and copy it with a Control-C or a Command-C if you're on your Mac.
Okay.
And then just bring up your text editor, bring up Word, since you have that. And then just paste that in.
Can I bring up Word now when I'm on with you, or no?
I'm sorry, now?
Can I bring up Word now?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, that won't affect your Zoom meeting. I've got half a dozen different applications running at the same time here.
How do I get out of,
Just minimize Zoom. Don't close it, but minimize it.
How do I do that now?
It's the dash.
Do that.
The upper left.
Oh, there. You know, it won't let me minimize, actually.
Well, you should be able to start Word right over top of it. It should certainly allow you to multitask. If you're at full screen mode in Zoom, just press the escape key. I think you have that on your keyboard.
Yeah, okay, there it is. There it is.
There's your ribbon at the bottom there.
So I just go to Word and I paste it in like a blank doc.
Paste it into Word and save the Word document. Then you'll have it. Then you just copy paste it into your web browser when you want to go there. And that's the direct link to the Amazon page, so you should be able to buy it from right there.
Okay, now how do I get back to the Zoom meeting?
You should see a Zoom icon in your ribbon at the bottom there, a little blue icon with a white stylized camera in it.
Yeah, I'm just learning how to use it. So how do I?
Yeah, I know the feeling.
How do I save I paste it in the Word doc, and now where do I go to save?
In Word, just do a file save.
But is it at the top of my
bar? Yeah, it should be at the top of your Word window. There should be a menu bar.
Can I share my screen?
Oh yeah, why don't you do that? Let me stop my share. Okay, go ahead.
Did it work?
Okay, you've got the Word document there. Now go to you see the little little diskette icon just to the right of that. I think that's your save button.
This one?
Nope, just to between those two. Yeah.
This one.
I think. So yeah, save as. Yeah, to your desktop is probably good.
Okay.
Okay, that should have it saved.
Okay, thank you so much, because I literally just got this from On the Hub. You know what that SDCCD.onthehub
right.
gives?
Mm-hmm.
So that's I just got that, and they installed it because one of the things I did was I worked in Pages on one of the assignments, and that went fairly quickly, and it took me, probably I worked on it for 2 hours on a Friday. It's always on a Friday night, Dave.
Right.
I'm like, okay, I want to have my weekend free, but I'm like, I was determined to submit it. So, so I worked on it, and then I'm like, okay, it's 8:30, I'm not going to do this. And then Monica, who I've been working with, said, it's because it was in Pages, and Canvas needed it in a doc or docx or something. It doesn't accept Pages.
Right.
So anyway, so that was my problem.
Well, you can save as a Word document from Pages, I believe. You can export a Pages document as a Word document.
Yes, and I put it in. Well, I'm just learning how to do I'm not a computer person. I shouldn't say that because I'm getting to be one.
Yes, we're all having to be now, aren't we?
It's like no choice. Okay, so I jumped on the,
right.
You know, how do I make that bigger? Okay, so anyway, so we put it in the Dropbox, and she likes Dropbox. She's got a Mac too, because then she can access her documents from anywhere. She doesn't need to be like on her computer.
Right.
So.
Very handy thing. You can use Google Drive that way as well.
That's another thing I have to learn how to use.
Well, Dropbox. Google Drive gives you a little bit more storage than Dropbox does for free.
Okay.
All righty.
All right. Well, thank you so much. You have a great week.
My pleasure.
Are you doing this through July or?
Actually, they've asked me to come back for the next fiscal year. I'll be offering 2 or 3 sessions a week for the next year. So
it's great for us. I don't know. I mean, you're supposed to be retired, Dave.
Well, what else do I have to do? Not a lot else I dare go out and do. So, and besides, I enjoy this.
Yeah.
This is, I've been a teacher for 50 years.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to stop. So.
Yeah. It's really, you've been fabulous, so patient, and you know, it's good, even though I kind of know what's going on, it's good to see you do it over again when I have a basic knowledge. So then like some of the finer points, oh yeah, I didn't do that. You know what I mean? I'm adding layers to my understanding of the
yeah. It's an iterative process, that's for sure. And I learn new stuff. I learned new stuff today that I didn't know.
Yeah.
So it's always worth repeating if you have the patience to do it.
Yes. And it's keeping brain cells. It's waking up, firing.
Let's not talk about that.
Well, keep teaching. You don't have anything to worry about. Okay, thank you so much. You have a good week.
My pleasure. You take care, and I hope to see you again soon.
You will. On Monday. All right, bye.
Take care, all of you.